Hi everybody and welcome back to some more MotoGP 15. This is Carl Gunner Grove 14 here, and this is part number 1 of our new championship series here on the channel. And in this championship series we're going to be using an official rider, and that rider we've chosen is Cal Crutchlow. Now Cal Crutchlow doesn't get in the limelight a lot and he doesn't usually finish on the podium, and I thought it'd be good to use a rider like that hasn't won the championship series and try and show that he has got it what it takes to get amongst the big boys. Now in this race today is going to be I've set out the season on random, so all the tracks aren't going to be in their usual order. Also, I'm going to put it on the hardest AI and use no driver assist. But as the season goes on, we're going to add full damage on. We're going to add full tyre wear. There's going to be bike malfunctions and all that, so it's going to be really exciting and really challenging. Plus the weather's on random as well, so we don't know what to expect. We're going to just try our best and see if we can take Cal Crutchlow to the top of the championship. So here we go in our first race, and our first race is in Spain around Catalonia. Let's go and see if we can get good qualifying. Here we go.
Hello and welcome to the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia. Everything ready now for the first qualifying session, and that will give those riders who missed out in free practice a chance to go for pole in the second qualifier. The weather forecast for this session is fine, so riders and teams will be able to focus exclusively on getting the best out of their bikes.
Right, so here we go with our first qualifying session around Catalonia with Cal Crutchlow. We've already made a few adjustments to the bike just to make it a little bit easier to handle around this track. This is a circuit I do like. The bike does handle a lot different to the bike I was using on the other series, the Aprilia. But so far it feels okay. I might make a few more adjustments if I get through to the second qualifying. That's the aim, but we'll just have to see. Also, I just want to say with this series, we're going to run this series, it's going to be on the hardest AI all the way through and with all the assists turned off. But as we go, like on part 2, we're going to add like full tyre wear, full damage, so there's going to be bikes, you know, engine failures and stuff like that. The weather's on random as well, so we're going to get really different weather for each circuit, which is going to be good. Plus the circuits are going to be in a custom order. They're not going to be in the same order that the season runs, so I've got absolutely no clue what the next race is going to be. I just randomised them quickly and then just started the season, so it's going to be really interesting, and we're going to just try and push as much as we can and try and get Cal Crutchlow to the top of the championship. But with all these weather conditions, and we might get our bike failing on us and our tyres wearing out, because I do like to use the brakes a lot around some of these corners. I do trail brake it a lot, so getting a lot of tyre wear on that back wheel is going to maybe be an issue in some races, but hopefully it's not going to be an issue in this one, because all we've got is on the hardest AI and no assist. We haven't got the tyre wear in this one or the damage, so it's not going to affect. This is just going to be a start off for this new series. That's hopefully we can start this series off with a bang. Right, so we just got first in this qualifying session. Let's just double check that. I think we were way quicker than the others. So that takes us to the second qualifying session. That's absolutely brilliant. So let's try and get another good time. Let's try and push this bike a little bit more. Might make a few adjustments and see if we can improve on that time. So let's get into the second qualifying session. So here we go.
We'll be starting any minute now. We're back live for the start of the second qualifying session. And from our commentary position, we can see the mechanics are working hard to make sure they're getting the best from their bikes.
Right, so here we go with the second qualifying session. I've already put in 1 lap and managed to get second so far, but we've just made another alteration to the bike just to try and improve on that time. So we're going to try and get pole position, but at the moment I'm not feeling like this bike is as smooth around the corners as I'd like. It may take a couple of races just to get into the swing of this and get this higher spec bike a little bit better, or just to my liking anyway. But so far so good. If we can get in the top 3 at the start of this first race in this series, that would be absolutely brilliant. Like I said, Cal Crutchlow's not a rider that usually gets around the podium, but he does get some good qualifying times, and he does sometimes get in the top 5 on the grid. So that he just doesn't finish well. So hopefully we can improve on that. This series is going to be really interesting. Like I said, once we get into the next couple of parts of this series and we start adding on full damage and that, and tyre wear, it should get really interesting and exciting with all the random weather conditions. But at the moment we're not really going much quicker than our last time, so it may be just second. Look, with equal time at the moment, unless we can push in these last few corners, I'm just feeling that back end squirming around a bit. It's not as smooth as I was like. See, I just kicked to the brake there. I might adjust the brake discs on the bike before the race, just so I can be sure that I can improve on my times. But that's to see what this gives. Oh God, ran it on the curb there. Don't want to be doing that in the race especially. Right, let's finish off this lap. Is it going to be fast enough to take pole position? Look, we dropped down the third. Come on, we've got to improve on this. We don't want to be dropped down. And we get first again. Right, we're going to check the qualifying out and see if that gets us pole position. So at the moment, qualifying session, let's speed it up. Let's see if it ends up pole position. Absolutely brilliant. So in our first race we take pole. That's absolutely brilliant. So let's get into this race around Catalonia and see if we can take Carl Crutchlow to his first championship win in this series. That would be absolutely brilliant. Right, let's get into the race.
Hello and welcome to the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya. We'll be bringing you live coverage of the MotoGP race in just a few minutes' time. The skies over the track are clear, and the latest weather reports are telling us that temperatures will be as expected for this time of year.
Right, so on the front row of the grid we've got two Spanish riders, Marquez and Lorenzo. This is a home Grand Prix, so they're going to be really pushing to get a victory in their home country, but we're going to try really hard and try and get the sort of pace that we had in that qualifying session and try and get this first win. But it's not going to be easy, but at least we got good weather conditions. That's a massive bonus. So here we go. Right, all systems go. Let's try and get a good start with Carl Crutchlow off the mark. But we know that the two Spanish riders are really going to push hard into that first corner. So that's a good start. Oh, look at Marquez. He flew off out the traps on that Repsol Honda. And Lorenzo took me as well. They absolutely flew out the traps. But can we catch him in this first corner? Let's get the brakes on. Oh, God, it's going to be close. Oh, what a first corner that was. God, did they fly out those traps? I was expecting them to start really quick. And we just didn't really get a fast start there. We're definitely going to have to look at the gearing on that, because we really didn't have the acceleration there, and we absolutely got blitzed off the line. But we managed to get back at them, and we're back in the lead, and let's try and really push this bike as much as we can and try and improve on our times if we can. But at the moment we're leading the Grand Prix, and I'm not sure who's behind us at the moment or how. Oh, we're actually leaving them. This is an absolutely flying start. So I'm leading it. Marquez is almost 9/10 of a second behind. So who's behind Marquez? It was probably Lorenzo. So I'm absolutely leaving them in this first lap. This is the best start I could have expected. And yeah, let's just try and really put in some good times. This is, like I said, a circuit I do like. And the weather conditions are good. Oh God, almost ran it a bit wide there. Let's try and settle into a rhythm if we can. Get some heat in those tyres. Still kicking out the back. I made an adjustment to the brakes, but they still feel a little bit, you know, especially at the front, not as good as I would like. That's something that we will have to have a look in later rounds. I do like to mess around with the setups on bikes. If you've watched any of my ride series, I used to do bike setups quite a lot. So if anyone wants to know what sort of setup I run on, just ask in the description below, and I will hopefully try and help you out. Right, so that was a 1:45, so that's the first lap, and Marquez has sort of closed the gap a bit, so I was a bit slow for that second part of the circuit there. Just try and, oh God, look, I'm really pushing it. Don't want to be going on the curbs there. We're taking it as tight as possible. Right, let's see if we can improve on our times that we got in qualifying as well. I mean, what did we get? We got 1:42.6. If we can really show that we've improved from qualifying in this race, and see if we can beat that time as well. I mean, I've always had a greater pace in the race than I do qualifying. I've showed that in previous series. I'm a bit like Rossi in real life. He doesn't always qualify very high up on the grid, but he always seems to show that he's a Sunday rider and have race pace. So let's see if we can beat 1:42.6 on this second lap. This does actually feel a lot quicker than the first lap, and yeah, we seem to have settled into rhythm. We've managed to gap Marquez a little bit more. Let's see what the split time is. Oh no, actually Lorenzo's taken over Marquez, and it's only 0.6, so they're actually only just over half a second behind. So I'm going to have to be really on my game that I don't make any mistakes, because they will be back on me. They want to win in front of their home crowd. The two Spanish riders are normally good around the circuit as well in real life, if you do watch MotoGP. And so we don't want to be letting our guard down. So let's skip round this corner for this end of the second lap. What time is it going to be? I'm not sure if it's going to be quicker. So we hit... Now see, that wasn't that much quicker, a 1:42.8. So that's slightly slower than qualifying. But and Rossi's just hit the track record, so he's just hit a 1:42.7. So Rossi's got the fastest lap of the Grand Prix so far. But we've got Lorenzo sitting behind us, but we've managed to extend that gap, so it's just over a second now. So we're on the last lap. Can we get a victory in this first race on this series with Cal Crutchlow? That would be a brilliant start, and then we can start adding a few more tricky things into this series. Some brake wear and some full damage as well, and you never know what sort of weather we're going to get. We don't know what track we're going to get in the next race, so we getting her 25 points here must be an absolute must, I think, because we don't know what to expect in the next race. So this seems a bit quicker. Hopefully this will be a quicker lap. I want to get quicker than qualifying, because that's when you know the adjustments that you make a difference, and then you know what to adjust for the next race. Right, so we come to the end of the third and final lap, and we're sitting at 1 second ahead of second. And Lorenzo, this has been an absolute brilliant start to this series. This is what I wanted for my first race in this new championship series, to get a win and 25 points on the board, because we don't know what to expect with, like I say, adding tyre wear and damage and stuff like that, and not knowing what circuit and what sort of weather we've got to expect. So getting 25 points on the board is a good thing. So let's try and finish this race in style. Can we get a faster time than 1:42.6? Or I think that was slightly quicker. So that's a brilliant end to this race, and our first win with Cal Crutchlow. That is absolutely brilliant, and I am so chuffed. And look, over 1.3 seconds faster than Lorenzo. That's absolutely awesome. Right, so let's have a quick look at the standings. So we know that we got 25 points, so Lorenzo 20 points, and Rossi managed to take Marquez. I bet he didn't like that in front of his home crowd. So Rossi gets a podium as well. That's absolutely brilliant for him. So that's 25 points for Honda. So that's a good start to this new series. And I'm not sure what circuit's going to come up in the next race. Like I said, I did a custom season, so we don't know what weather conditions we're going to get, but what I do know, we're going to add obviously tyre wear and full damage, and we don't know if we're going to get problems with our bike, how our tyres going to adapt to whatever weather conditions that we race in. This is going to be really interesting. I hope you enjoyed this new series, and if you did, let's try and get 20 likes on this first part in this series. And hopefully, if you do want to see more of this, please subscribe to the channel and leave any comments in the messages below. And I will see you very, very soon for the next part. Thank you very much for watching, and bye-bye.